I never thought that I would try to cheat on a lie detector test. But when I was about 26, I was looking for books on how to do that. I needed to pass the test to get a security clearance for a Pentagon job. And I was pretty worried that the test would show I was gay. At this point in my life, I had thought a great deal about gay sex, but I had not done the deed. I decided that I just was going to keep my pants on until I got out of the service because there was a lot more at stake than just this one Pentagon job. If I got thrown out for being gay, I might have gotten what was called a general discharge instead of an honorable discharge. And that could have haunted me the rest of my life. No. My research and book learning paid off. I found a book that warned, pay very close attention to the exact wording of every question on the lie detector test. I thought, okay, right. So if the question is, do you have homosexual tendencies? The answer is yes. And if I said no, the machine would nail me as a liar. But if the question was, have you had a gay sexual experience in your adult life? The correct answer was no. Maybe that was the question they asked me 50 years ago. Anyway, I got my job. My new job title was photo interpreter. That meant I looked at spy photos taken by satellite of factories in the USSR and China that made tanks and that kind of thing. I was supposed to be looking for new models that hadn't been seen before. I worked in a windowless building in Washington, D.C. called Building 213. Of course, I was supposed to say that I worked at the Pentagon and never to say that I worked at Building 213. And I was absolutely forbidden to disclose what went on in Building 213, even though everybody in Washington knew it was a CIA photo interpretation center. Okay, fast forward 7 years. I've survived Vietnam. I'm a lawyer in San Francisco. I've come out as a gay man. The sexual revolution is roaring, and people are making up for lost time. I'm in Washington for a couple days on business, and after an early dinner at my hotel, I head out to a bar for a quick beer and the possibility that I will get lucky. I was in my 30s then and still a bit of a sport. So I'm in the bar, guy about my age, nice looking guy, chats me up. He says he works for the government. Oh yeah, that's what half the people in Washington will tell you if you ask them what they do. I tell him I'm a lawyer in San Francisco. And then he invites me home. After what I still recall as a very satisfactory roll in the hay, we are in what you might call afterglow mode, pillow talk. And I say something like, so what do you do for the government? And he says, I work for the CIA. Oh my God, where? What? Do you work at Langley? What do you do? Oh, and he says, oh no, I work in Building 213. I'm a photo interpreter. So my mind just flooded, with anxiety and fear. And is this entrapment? And how can this just be a coincidence? And, I still know all this top secret stuff. And I signed all these contracts when I left the service that I would not disclose it and yada, yada. And all that, takes place in like 1 second. And then I step back a little and say, no, that's too paranoid. So I start to calm down. And I say something like, oh my God, I did that job in the Army 7 years ago in that exact building. There's no way I could have been openly gay at that time. He says, well, yeah, times have changed. And he says, and you know, they were changing more than maybe you thought at that time. So I paused for just a second and I say, well, yeah, okay. Come to think of it, some people at the embassy did make a soft approach to me as I was leaving Vietnam to join the agency. And they kind of hinted that they knew I was gay and it probably wasn't going to matter. And the idea of going to work for the agency had some appeal for me. I think I had the basic makings of a spook, observant and discreet. But I was not going to be a celibate closet case. So I never followed up. He says, well, if you would like to give us a second look, I think you'd fit in just fine now. Maybe as a lawyer, maybe as an analyst, maybe even in management eventually. I'll give you my card. You know what they say? Once a spook, always a spook.